Okay, yeah, gotta do something real quick. I guess I'm doing this because I'm just obviously gonna be anxious. I just wanted to go through that night on November 5th as best as I can remember it. We were just going about our lives. I was, well, pretending to be as normal as I can be, all things considered. So, yeah, we were actually in the middle of purchasing a car with my money, and long story short, I just tried to get the money back, that deposit back from the car salesman in Cleveland, and he basically said he's going to keep the $1,700. So that's $1,700, $1,700 greenbacks I'm never going to get back. So I guess this is kind of why the argument started, because Patty died of an apparent heart attack that day. We were running saws and drills and whatnot, and the working theory is that all that racket made her so anxious she had a heart attack. And I didn't want to do this. This was the roommate's idea. I bought all the tools, I bought all the supplies. You know, I've been bankrolling everything, and it just stressed me out. I basically pay for everything around here, so that's why we're going to be in a pickle when I eventually get my felonies and a year in jail. It's really going to make keeping this house probably impossible, because I could barely get by without felonies. But I'm getting off topic. I wanted to really build that fence. That was the project I wanted to do, and he just kind of kiboshed it. And that's kind of how the argument started. And then it kind of turns into a dick measuring contest about who had the worst life and the worst parents and the worst trauma and so on and so forth. And I've been basically struggling with suicidal ideation as far as I can remember, on account of being estranged from my family and being at the mercy of their smear campaign about me. I won't bother getting into that. I opened this up and put it right in his face. I mean, there's all the letters I have with my last will and testament to be mailed out when before the deed is done. So yeah, that's my suicide kit. He didn't let's just say he wasn't very receptive when I was trying to communicate that to him. Our argument got heated, and I knocked his headphones off his head. You know, he told me how I was a terrible person and didn't do anything nice for him, and, you know, I was impossible to live with, which I understand, because I can't live with myself either. That's why I had the dog in the first place. So, yeah, then he basically said this is the end of the friendship, and with that being that was my last tie to this world. So, I went out in the backyard and called my mom, uncle, aunt, whoever. I went out to the trees at the back, and the only one that picked up was my roommate's sister. Fine. It's 3 degrees out, cat. Yeah. 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 What's the matter? Don't like it? So yeah, I called her. She pleaded with me to hold off, so I did. Then she came and apologized for calling the cops, and that's when I panicked and went into the kitchen. And then they showed up at the back patio, pretending to be friendly. Officer Paul Drake and Brent Kieffer, I think his name is. We talked at length. I spilled my guts, feeling like crap, feeling guilty, which I basically incriminated myself by saying how I knocked his headphones off his head, my roommate. While we were talking, my roommate walked into the front door and just glided right past me, back out the back door, while I was talking with the police. So they saw firsthand it wasn't like my roommate was in any immediate danger. After all, it's not why they were called here. Yeah, we talked at length. Then towards the end of our talk, they lied and said my roommate needed something from his room and asked them to get it, but they had never left the porch, and I hadn't seen them talk to him. They didn't say anything to him when he walked past them, so I knew they were lying. So I shut the door and locked it, and I went back to his room and tried to get an idea of what they were talking about. I called both my roommate and his sister. They didn't pick up because they were apparently too busy talking in the driveway. Then I opened the door to ask them what it was they were going for, and then the officer off to this side lunged at me and lunged for the door, and they both lunged and shoved their arms through the crack in the door. I had tried to shut it before they did that, but they were quicker than me. So they forced it open and then knocked me back onto the floor here. In that corner was the iced tea jar that they smashed me against. Yeah, they knocked me down right there, and that was I think I grabbed that trim as I was falling down. It was a scuffle. They threw me down right here where the jar was. That's half the reason why I was clenching my fist, because my upper back was resting on shards of broken glass. And actually, now that I look, there's another. Yeah, there's. I guess he didn't clean up all of it. There's still more pieces of it there. Yeah, rolling around on top of broken glass don't feel good. I know they're gonna say how I balled up my fist and threatened to punch them, but they were actually punching me. But I'm sure any self-defense is gonna be written up as me being combative and assaulting them. I know how that game works. So yeah, they punched me a few times, grappled me. I know my hand was hanging on that trim like that, and right after I just told them see, look, it's fine. See, it's fine. All I did was punch off his headphones. Told him that bit. Boy, did he pound on that pretty hard. He pounded on it good. Get me to let go, and they were grab my hands, and I think it was the officer to my left that was punching me in the ear. The nurse at the hospital did mention my ear was red, but I refused treatment, so none of it got noted down. Then they tased me the first time. Then with all that pain surging through me, I managed to break free of their hold, which I know is not going to sound good, even though I'm the one being assaulted here. And no, that light doesn't work. course it doesn't. Oh, that's right. Electrical problems. Well, yeah, I did get a good gash in my thumb. You can't tell on this camera. The scar's still there. It's been a month, so, it's healed. My roommate didn't quite take pictures of the scuffle before he started cleaning everything up. He just missed all the blood droplets from me. All those specks are blood from me. And I was standing right here with one of the officers hiding around that way and one here still holding the taser gun that had just broken its wires connected to me. I yelled at them to get out of my house. They made a smug remark about how I had a bunch of charges against me. And I don't remember what was yelled during the scuffle, but I know before they lunged through the door and pounced on me, they did not say I was under arrest. But I don't know how it works in Ohio. Maybe they don't have to do that. Maybe they do. I don't know. They got a funny way of preventing suicide, I'll tell you that much. I just wanted someone to talk to. And, I don't know. Sorry, Kat. I'm going to have a bunch of felonies on me, and then I'm going to be in jail forever, so I'm going to be out of work for a year or more, and then after that, I'm not going to be able to find work. And then I'm just going to be trapped in a loop like every other felon. And going through this all because I was out in the backyard just a hair's breadth away. Still thinking of doing it now because it's the only pragmatic thing to do. And my life did end that night, basically, at least in the legal sense. So, yeah, I overheard I think it was someone else, a different officer, out back somewhere, and the one standing here said, "He's right here," and I heard someone yell like "Tase him again." And that's when I panicked, and I closed this door. By the way, I'm in my pajamas this whole time, just flannels, socks, and my hoodie. And then I fast walked over to this door, went out this door, and I'm not going to open that one because it's difficult to get closed. Came out that door, and then I tried to walk around the corner to find where my roommate and his sisters were, or his sister was. They were standing right here next to his car. I talked with them. They just tased me, and they just beat me up in the kitchen, and they just gave me this dumbfounded look. I don't know. I guess somewhere in my stupid head, I thought being near them would discourage the police from continuing their intentions toward me that night. So they came around that corner, they came from that way, and there was about, I don't know, roughly 10 or so pointing rifles at me with my roommate and his sister behind me. So they were also in the line of fire. I think, I don't know, I can't remember if she was holding her baby or not. It was too much going on, too dark. I don't recall those details. And yeah, I know, I should have just laid down in the fetal position and taken it like apparently you're supposed to, because cops are just allowed to beat on people because they have badges. I know. But when I'm attacked, it's not my instinct to just not defend myself. That, and I was thinking the whole time, I was thinking of that $30,000 medical bill from the hospital I'm going to end up with if they lock me up, which they did do eventually. So, and there's all the wood for the fence that I had just purchased that same night and had shipped here. So, too little too late now. So, and then after they tased me and dogpiled on me again, and the taser, that was the second and third time maybe, or maybe it was just the second time. I don't recall exactly how many times they tased me. I know it was a minimum of 2 times. Then they dragged me over to the ambulance. Then they drove me. The ambulance took me to the hospital to make sure my heart wasn't cooked, and then they took me to jail. And one of the officers who initiated the whole aggression in the first place was laughing and talking about the whole ordeal with one of the other officers while I was being shoved into the squad car. They were laughing about it. They were laughing. They were fucking laughing. They were fucking laughing. So, yeah, that's about the gist of it. What was being yelled at during the scuffle, I don't know. They might have yelled out, "You're under arrest," but they did not say any of that stuff before they attacked. I know that much. So, yeah, that's yeah. And the reason I bought this place is so that dog could have that backyard, and she only had it for 9 months. So, I wasn't in a good place then. I'm in a worse place now. Now I'm here all alone, and I don't want to be alone. So, yeah, I think that's it.